Go ahead, we'll call the meeting to order. Lori, can you do roll call, please?
Abdurrahman?
Here.
Jennifer?
Here.
Sean?
Here.
Allison?
Here.
Nick?
Here.
Kara?
Here.
Gabe?
Here.
And can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. I'm going to kick off tonight with the reason I think most of you are here, our student and staff recognition. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Davidson and Mrs. Hammond.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming and helping us celebrate our student and staff recognitions for October. These were all students and staff nominated by staff and then voted on by our administration. So you are all well recognized tonight. So first one is our high school students, and we have our cheerleading team that will be recognized. And Dwayne Helgold is the person that nominated. He couldn't be here tonight, so Sharon Johnson, the coach, is gonna help us, and she's going to give a few words as well. And then we can call up the girls here too. Emerald Johnson. Shantae Burton. McKenna Prosser. Ireland Johnson. Kaylee Carver. Macy Pierce. Abby McNeil. Kenna Small. Last but not least, Emerson Gavin Hyatt. All right, so Mr. Helgevold nominated the cheerleaders because by being friendly and outgoing and because they show great school spirit at every athletic event. I want to thank Mr. Helgevold for nominating the CCA high school cheer team as Students of the Month and thank those who selected them for this recognition. Cheer is truly a unique sport that combines athleticism and coordination with community involvement and perception for a season that lasts from the beginning of August through March. Cheerleaders are the face of Clear Creek Amana, not only when they are cheering, but also every day when they're in school, at work, or just generally in the public. They're easily recognizable, and how they act reflects either positively or negatively on the school. The CCA cheer team embodies this and always strives to treat people with respect and kindness, act with integrity, and cheer their hearts out for all of their Clippers. Ladies, I am so proud of you. You all deserve this recognition, and I applaud you. Congratulations. Now we're going to go to our elementary student of the month. Cooper, can you please come on up? Oh my God. Stay right there. Yep, you want to stay here, buddy? Oh, yep, come on.
I'm Mrs. Zacharias. I nominated Cooper. He is my first grade student. I have a few words that I wanted to share, if that's all right. Today, I am proud to recognize Cooper as he truly embodies what it means to be Student of the Month. He is kind, caring, and always helpful. Cooper is the type of friend I would want for my own child, someone who treats others with respect and compassion every single day. He is eager to learn and an active participant in class, always engaged and ready to share his thinking. Not only does he work hard himself, but he's also willing to teach and support others, making sure everyone around him can succeed too. In our classroom, he consistently shows leadership by setting a positive example through his actions. He's the kind of kid who helps not for the praise or attention, but simply out of the kindness of his heart. Whether it's supporting a classmate, cleaning up without being asked, or encouraging others to do their best, he makes our classroom a better place just by being in it. Each morning, our class recites the poem, I Am Somebody by Andrea Davis. This poem speaks of the value each person has within themselves and others. Cooper not only believes these values about himself, but he truly believes this in each person he encounters. We are so lucky to have him, and I'm honored to celebrate Cooper as our Elementary Student of the Month.
Next will be our middle school student, Jordy Accord. Jordy, you want to come on up? And Aaron nominated Jordy and has some great words to say as well.
So I have Jordy in my learning strategies class, and I was going to shoot from the hip, but then when I saw everybody here, I figured I'd better stick to the script a little bit more. So Jordy, I said, very hard worker, does a great job sharing his thoughts in class. He has a can-do attitude, and even though material may be tough for him at times, he has a grit needed to overcome and succeed. Jordy's always kind to his peers and also is a good leader because he doesn't tolerate people messing around in class and encourages others to give a better effort. He deserves Student of the Month because he's a good student, he's active in activities, and he's a nice kid. The one thing that if anybody were to ask about Jordy Accord, and I said this at the meeting that we had last year, I'm like, bottom line, who is Jordy Accord? He's a winner in my book. And, you know, I got a 6-year-old son right now, and if he grew up to be like Jordy, I'd be pretty darn satisfied. So I think that's about the biggest compliment I can give to somebody. So congratulations.
All right, now we're going to move on to our staff of the month. And Laura Hilton, you please come on up.
I'll add Jordy's a good football player too.
I'm also looking forward to that.
Yeah. So Miss Hilton is one of the teachers that was at Amana the first time I was at Amana. So not saying that we're old, but you know, we're getting up there. So I could just say Laura's a kindergarten teacher, and I think that would be enough to get the award because I forgot how hard it was to be a kindergarten teacher and see it in action. But she cares deeply for each and every student in her class. She's a tireless worker. She is often at school before I am or when I get there, which is pretty early. She prepares before and after school to ensure that everything is in place and will go smoothly for the school day. She creates lessons for her kindergarten students that are of the highest quality and engaging for the students. Over her career, she's mentored other young teachers and has worked with many student teachers as well. She's actually doing that right now. She's mentoring a first-year teacher and also a student teacher. She's a team player that's willing to do whatever is needed to help our school run smoothly. I'd like to thank her for her great years of service and dedication to Clear Creek Amana. She's someone that always puts the needs of others first. It doesn't matter if it's a student or staff. Laura is the one that will step up and say, I can help. She advocates for kids, especially the ones that need it the most. So,
Thank you. All right, Elizabeth Devesh Owings is our middle school staff of the month.
Thank you.
Elizabeth was nominated by Lauren DiGiorgio. Did I say that right? Okay. She was unable to attend tonight. Elizabeth goes above and beyond to support all students in my classroom. In band, this may look like helping percussion find what they need, helping a student unstick their trumpet valve, or giving helpful reminders for students who are wandering off task. With 70 students in a rehearsal, this extra support is invaluable and benefits the entire band. She is awesome. And that's in all caps. Elizabeth is very knowledgeable about her students' needs. She is very patient and kind when helping them through difficulties, while still remaining firm and supporting them in their goals. Every day in our classroom, Elizabeth is attentive and positive when interacting with all students and staff. Congratulations. All right. Mike McHugh got the high school staff, and he's unable to attend tonight. His grandparent duties. So I'm gonna read his nomination, which was from Tony Brock, another high school teacher. Mr. McHugh consistently goes above and beyond for our students. He demonstrates this by regularly attending sporting and fine arts events, including many away competitions, and by volunteering his time as a referee and assisting at track and field meets. Many staff and students look to Mr. McHugh as a moral compass. In a time when values are often tested, he exemplifies true character and consistently demonstrates kindness towards others. And our last staff of the month recognition is a district staff person, our Director of Buildings and Grounds.
Yes.
Which Maury was unable to make it tonight,
Yep.
but Christine nominated Maury and she's going to read her
Sure.
nomination.
And he also called and just expressed his gratitude to everybody. He really appreciated that so much today too. Maury manages so many staff members with grace. With all of the locations over many, many miles, I'm so impressed that he makes the job look seamless. Road projects get in the way of work, but he keeps the teams moving and our facilities looking amazing. On top of that, he is an outstanding member of our district leadership team. He contributes to the conversations with positivity and a focus on what's best for students and staff. He attends almost every school board meeting, not tonight, but almost every school board meeting. And most recently, really impressed me with his dedication to the facilities committee as we had our building tours. He demonstrated an incredible amount of knowledge about all aspects of our buildings. He shared highlights of each facility in a positive and helpful manner and answered questions from the community members with clarity and professionalism. Maury follows up on what he says he will do and is always prepared. He shows kindness every day as he interacts with staff and shows that he goes the extra mile with all the work he does outside of the typical day.
Thank you.
So we're gonna do pictures now of everybody. We'll get the cheerleaders first.
Center them there. Yeah, I mean, out of the way.
And we'll have you come on up.
Gotta go right in the middle, girls. Right in front. Oh, I missed two.
Okay,
You get 2 rows.
you're about
Okay, definitely.
all in the back.
You have to change it up a little bit. You're good.
Yeah, the front row kind of just bends down a little bit.
Yeah.
You get nothing?
Or you want the tea now?
It's okay. All right, everybody look at me and smile. Awesome.
Congrats, girls.
Congratulations.
Good work.
Thank you.
And good luck at your band event tonight.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Okay, now we can get the other students and staff, if you want to come on up. Jordan is here. I think so. Well, actually,
More, you're good. Go right over here. Just because I don't-
Go in the
right.
You're
Thank
the one
you.
who's center.
Yeah, here, keep it in here.
All right, great smile, Cooper. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's okay. It's good to see a different view.
You didn't have to tell me.
You know. All right. I was gonna try to speak public comments, because there are none, right?
Brad, I'm tired.
No, I'm not doing that.
All right. Did we have any public comments here tonight? Nope, and none online? Great. None online. We'll move right into presentations. And Denny, you're up first with transportation, I believe.
That's a high energy group. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate, good evening, appreciate the time. And first, I need to recognize my staff. This year we've been thrown a lot of challenges every day, and my staff, drivers, mechanics, secretary, monitors, have stepped up beyond just phenomenal. So didn't want to forget that before I got going too much. So fall update for transportation 2025. The next one. Up or down?
Yes, side air.
Just pushing both. We've had a great start to the year, I should say. I mean, just some unique challenges, but great work by our staff. So they're. There we go. Okay. First, kind of look back the last 2 years, where we've been at with the number of students, routes, those kind of things. We're still seeing an increase in students assigned to routes. That's a jump. I don't know where that falls in terms of our actual student enrollment jump, but if it's more families interested in riding transportation or getting riding services, that's where we've been at 2 years ago, 23 and 24. Regular routes, we jumped for drivers. We had a little bit of an increase. And when we get to 2025, I will say that the driver numbers are up, but they're kind of deceiving in terms of who's willing to drive regularly. We've got a lot of subs, so that's kind of contributed to just some challenges this year. So I'm going to jump to that next one. So in the third year, we are up 1,878 students in our system, route finder, that are assigned to a route. Ridership is up. I will say that we have full buses. Wednesdays are our most challenging days. We have some high school, middle school routes that we have help routes over there ready for overflow. Elementary routes, they're full. Our buses have routed things to capacity and a little more, just based off activities and who drops off on certain days for things like that. But we've got a lot of students assigned to routes. Obviously, the jump from 23 to 25, pretty substantial. Like I said, I don't know where that is in line with our enrollment, but the interest to ride is there. Number of regular routes, we've increased to 60. We were 57 last year. And a couple slides later on, we'll see some unique challenges that we're doing a little differently this year that have some routes going some places that we haven't gone in the past. I will say the fifth grade challenges we have from a western edge of our district to East Ridge has presented some challenges in terms of routes, both time, fleet, staffing, those kind of things. But the jump in routes is not bad, 3 considering the number of students we've added. That's kind of a full bus load distributed across the district and route. So special ed, pretty steady. We haven't seen a jump there. I know there's 1 or 2 students new this year that have come in, but some dropped off. So we're very comparable to last year in 2023 as well in terms of special ed routes. Drivers at 55, like I said, is towards the end of last year we lost, right around spring break, we lost 3 or 4 drivers. Actually, it was probably more than that, 6 or 7, just to some things, health reasons, retirement, moving. We've done a great job in terms of adding drivers, but not all of them want to work regularly. Some just want to be subs, or they're still filling in on routes that are 1 or 2 days a week type thing. They can commit to that. So it's 55 is good, but if you're, again, a national problem, if you were to give me 5 or 6 drivers, I could have them on routes immediately, keeping my mechanics myself off the road. So 55 is where we're at this year so far. Just had 2 new ones come in the last week or two, probably, and have a couple in the works. So people are interested. We've got a lot of van drivers, not so many big bus drivers, which I would love to have more large bus drivers, because that just creates a little more flexibility in terms of our routes. And number of buildings, we're still at 9, so similar to last year. Year 2 of some programs that impacted us significantly last year, and we're still maintaining excellent service and efficiency. Our magnet program, we're at 31 students that come from outside the Amana enrollment area, making 5 or 6 stops coming across the district. We have them on 1 bus route. It's working out pretty good, I think. Haven't heard from the magnet parents at all in terms of any issues or ride time or things like that. So it's helped to have them all on 1 route. It's a seatbelt bus. It's got a monitor, good support, and I think those students, surprisingly, at the end of the day, still have a lot of energy. The reduced hour was, initially a challenge, but we worked that into where it's working out good for them. I think the shortened day has helped some of maybe the behavior issues that we saw. They've had good rides to and from school. So magnet program is at 31. I don't know where we were at last year in terms of that number. I think it was a little less, possibly.
18 maybe.
I thought it was like 16.
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it was under 20. I was going to say 20, but that's, so interest is there, and it's great. Going well. 8 routes transport 62 of our Clipper Academy preschool students, and those are ones that are out of our North Bend Tiffin enrollment area. Those routes are all have monitors on them as well, seat belts. It works great. I think our biggest challenge with the preschool is the location of the center. I don't know what I don't hear about the landlocked aspect of that, but transporting in and out of there isn't the best. We've had it on the street for 2 years now, and it's going smoothly. But if that continues to grow, obviously we have to look at a better location, possibly for space for my equipment coming in and out of there, let alone the stuff that's inside the building and how that serves those students. But 62 are being transported currently. Again, seatbelt buses with monitors, or the 2 new buses, thank you for those recently. We immediately put those into service, and we have a misspelling on one of them that's being addressed. Many eyes saw that, and it was brought to our attention last week. So it's bizarre. It happened. So East Ridge, we are near just about 400 students, 8 buses and 5 vans, and I cannot recall where we were at last year in terms of vans, but this year the vans serve their purpose in terms of some of the rural areas and getting out and having straight line routes. It's a lot of miles and coverage for just our southern half of the district, western, just the rural areas. The vans serve their purpose well, but the time difference in the afternoon, the bell time changes helped significantly at the high school, middle school. I think Brad may be able to share, and Tom, that the number of buses and students are getting in and out of the afternoon, middle and high school area is much better than last year in terms of route times and things. It's a significant impact, that 10 minutes earlier at the end of the day. So thank you for that. It's working much better. And the last of them, they're utilizing vans. Certainly helps with some of our efficiency on some of our routes. So fleet utilization, that's we have 32 large buses, 25 of those on routes daily, which leaves us 6 and 1 per activity trips. I think we're in a good place right now. Some afternoons, obviously, when we have a bus been on for service, or certain days of the week, there could be 4 to 5 activity trips during route time in the afternoon. We are able to make those work and make those numbers work. Certainly the 2 new ones have helped, and retaining some of the shifting down some of the equipment has been in a good number so far. Future, obviously, we're next round, we're looking at mini buses. The 4 we have, 3 are on routes daily and 1 spare that does need to be traded. It's just the corrosion aspect and years and miles are adding up there. So I will be looking for those soon. I have been for a while, but there's not a lot of availability there for the mini buses. Vans, we have 18 vans. Seems like a lot, but on any given day, we can have every single one of those accounted for and being driven in the afternoons and evenings. I do have another one that'll be maybe November's board meeting proposing to we purchase. It's a 2023, very similar to what we purchased from Buck Walter in Wellman. Good price, and we have funds available for it. It's a 12 passenger, they're very similar to the ones we have. So 18 vans, and we can never have enough of those. We'll have like some weekends coming up where 6 or 7 of those might be someplace, or evenings, so vans are at a premium. Stop Finder and fleet updates, a little bit of Stop Finder first. We have over 600 active subscribers with nearly 1,600 invitations that were emailed out at the beginning of the year. We did have a few days there at the beginning of the year that the school calendar needed to be applied a little differently to our subscribers. So there was the inability to get to the data was an issue for a few days, but that was taken care of. And 600 I think is good. That shows that the interest is there to see the timing of the bus, the routes, those kind of things. I'd like to see that higher, but when we have families ask questions or inquire about the bus routes, and I need to know, we direct them to where that's at and get them signed up quickly. It's a great tool. I think we'll see that number increase as the year goes on, and with the colder weather, fewer parents driving possibly. I don't know, they're looking for the bus Stop Finder app. So a great tool, good so far. Fleet upgrades, that's kind of our schedule over the next 5 years. What we'd like to see, or I'll be asking for, I guess. The minibus, obviously the 26, 27, trading 2 or 3 of those in and adding new ones. We have a handful of wheelchair students still in the district, and that'll be a need that won't go away for 5 to 10 years for sure. Seeing that, so that's kind of our fleet upgrades as it goes. And the TIF and sidewalk infrastructure, I asked about the tunnel over there and kind of the time frame with that. I don't see it having an impact or freeing up any of our equipment for the once that's in place and the sidewalks are there. We'll need to look at informing the TIF and Oak Hill families. You have a safe walkway now. We're reducing those routes, and they would need to walk based off our 2-mile guidelines for the Department of Ed. So that's in the works, but it's obviously a little farther out than I'd love it if we could free up some buses right away and routes, but it is what it is in terms of the construction process on that. I mentioned early, some of the challenges we've had this year. We have 13 school-to-school rides arranged for staff children. Those are, things that put in place to help staff bring their child to school, get them over to the next school, those type of things. So we have that in place, and they built into the routes. I don't see any issues with those. There was some talk of those going away. I personally, I'm fine with them. So if you hear otherwise, or you have other issues are out there, you're hearing things, please let me know. But they work for us and my staff. So transporting students out of our district to the following locations during route time these are kind of the challenging. Tate. It's kind of built in, and they're flexible in their times with us, so it's not too much of an impact, but it is out of our district.
Why are we doing that?
We have students, I don't know the exact enrollment process, but they're in our district, but they're not, we don't have the alternative. Tom, maybe?
I mean, for any of those, I'm not just meaning Tate, but like any of those listed.
Kirkwood, we have the high school Kirkwood courses. We take some over there. We have a shuttle in the mornings that take over there.
That one makes
Cedar
sense.
Rapids, we've got it's homeless, so a placement.
I can add.
Hills is homeless.
If we don't have programming to serve them, but there are kids, we're on the hook for transportation.
Yeah.
That's long story short.
2 out of the no.
So is the Kirkwood one for kids that can't drive? Is that
Correct. We choose if they come to the high school and say they don't have transportation over there. We have a bus that picks them up at about 6:45 in the morning, takes them over there, and then brings them back at 9:30 after their high school, after their classes over there. Cedar Rapids, we've got a homeless situation there. Hills, and then Williamsburg is our swimmers. Off-site activities, you can see that's swimmers, tennis, bowling, golf. Excuse me. Should grab the water, but I was running behind. AM and PM activity shuttles. We do those each morning and afternoon and evening. Thank you, Lori. Those are twice on Wednesday. We've got in the afternoons. This will be 3:30 and 3:45 after PM practices. Thank you. Those present some challenges in terms of what'll be my to-do list. I'll speak on that a little bit, a few minutes here. And when the weather's not the best, we have a shop class shuttle that we bring students over from the high school to the middle school. That hasn't started yet with a little bit of rain. We're avoided it the last couple of days. So those are kind of extra things we do each day on top of our regular routes that affect obviously vehicles, staffing. The Cedar Rapids Hills, that's one van, one staff member, morning and afternoon, that gets pulled away from, other routes has to be included. So challenging each day on those. I will say the to-do list, I meant to put that in there, overtime, looking at ways we can reduce overtime. Obviously it's, we have only a certain amount of people that want to do certain things, and our scope of work is 5:30 in the morning to 6 in the evening. With some of the activity shuttles that we do, they're extra. It's a great service, but it's also, I've got probably 2 or 3 individuals that are interested in those hours after regular routes. So you throw in those hours on top of their 30 hours of regular routes during the week, and maybe a Saturday band trip or something that's, again, a handful of people want to do, that's 14 hours. Overtime shows up pretty easily. So overtime is top of the list in terms of to-do list this year, trying to get more people interested in taking some of that work off of others that just do it all the time. They have for a long, long time. But selling that to those folks, and when we hire, we indicate, they ask how many hours can you give me. I got plenty, and then all of a sudden they don't really want it once they get on board. So it's a overtime top of the list. Route efficiencies and ride times certainly are challenging to some of the distance we have just geographically for East Ridge. Those two things are the biggest hitters of our to-do list. Questions?
Is the magnet program back to regular school hours? They don't go to 4?
Yes, regular. Yeah. Did that change at the beginning of the year?
Okay, just making sure that 45-minute drive isn't morning and night. I mean, if they got out at 4, that'd be a long day.
It's
like
the same. It's still 45. The first North Bend is the first pickup at 6:45. The bus empties at 7:30. So it's 45 minutes over, 45 minutes back. Ride time hasn't changed, just the time of day, afternoon.
Thank you for your presentation. Very helpful. Is it normal, I'm not against this, but just wondered for like benchmarking best practice, is it normal to do activity shuttles in other districts, or is that something that we do, or just curious about that?
Very few.
Do it?
Very few. Very, very few. We are the exception. I just, things have happened here that taking it away would be a huge amount of importance and discussion. Obviously, I think it's.
I'm not saying that we should. I was just curious if
Are those routes substantial, or is there 1 or 2 kids?
Some days 0, some days 7, 8. Depends on the sport, and some kids are told they don't have to be at those practices. I mean, it's a kind of a mix. But the minute I send a van and have 12 kids, we're having somebody late. So try and send a bus. I mean, it's primarily
it's just going to be there. There's no it's not like kids have to register for that, or parents would have to sign up and let us know.
We go regardless. I do work with the high school and middle school in terms of asking them if there's going to be a practice. Like if we watch schedules and there's something that may not require us to be there for some reason, season's over, like there's a couple of gaps in scheduling where I know there's not going to be a morning practice, we don't send them. Afternoon, it's there every day. Morning, we go every day. There isn't a registration process, and I think that'd be difficult for the coaches to solicit that out of the parents and have it scheduled. To me, we're there regardless. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
All right, Mr. Fox, you're up.
Probably will, but I'll just say that the years ago when that morning route stuff, the shuttle started, it really did get kids. Right now, it gets kids to come to be in activities that wouldn't be in because some of our most disadvantaged kids are able to get on a bus. So it's really, and it is super rare. I don't even know if I know any other school that does that, but I'll just say Denny too is, I've worked with a lot of people. Denny has never flinched. Like, we'll call him at any time and there's something we need help with, he figures it out. Like, it's pretty amazing, honestly, because it is such a huge undertaking. So, all right, Amana Elementary. So I kind of put two different presentations into one. So we'll talk about Amana first, give you time to ask questions if you have any, and then I'll let you run the show. And then go to the next one. So this just kind of gives you an overview of the staff at Amana Elementary and also some of the numbers. Obviously, it's a small elementary. We have one section of preschool in the morning. We have two sections of kindergarten, two sections of first, and then one section of second, third, and fourth. But you can kind of see how those numbers break down as some awkward numbers. Kindergarten, for example, has 30 kids. So that's two sections that are really nice small sections. First grade, 30 kids, again, two small sections. And then as you go up, second grade and third grade are each in one section, so those are a little bit bigger. Fourth grade's in one section, but it's a pretty nice number. As far as support staff and all those things, you can see kind of what we're dealing with in terms of associates. We do have a really good special ed program there that involves quite a few kids that need a little extra help in terms of associates. So that associate number is, I don't know, Megan, I think it's a pretty high number for the size of that school, but it certainly is needed. So, all right. Just some quick ISAPS data, really strong data at Amana Elementary last year. I was super impressed. I mean, I kind of paid attention where the numbers were at, but they're really strong. If you look at that third grade last year, you had 89% of the kids proficient in language arts, and in math, 78. Those are pretty good. That language arts number is really strong. And then fourth grade, you're at 90% in ELA, so those kids are now fifth graders, and 79% in math. So again, pretty solid numbers, I would say. The cool thing about Amana that I really like, that it's fun to be back there, you can really impact those numbers because you're dealing with such a small number of kids. If you can help those 4 or 5 kids that aren't proficient, you can really bump up quickly. So go ahead. So goals, we set a couple goals. Really, we focused on fourth grade because there isn't a lot we can do with third grade yet because we really aren't sure necessarily where they're going to come in. So set a fourth grade goal. You can see pretty aggressive there. We're trying to hit 50% of our fourth graders at the advanced level in language arts. That's a high number. I don't know that I've ever seen that, to be honest. And then 95% of fourth graders proficient. That'd be awesome. And then in math, not quite as high, but we based it off the previous year, so we're trying to bump everything up 2 or 3, 4%. And then really strengthen family engagement, which is one of our district goals as well. Just how we can go about getting all of our families to attend the conferences. So those started today. In fact, I saw Mrs. Rosenberg had one after school. So teachers are real good about working with families to get them when they need them. So this family obviously couldn't meet next week, so she had them in today. So, all right. Some highlights from Amana, the family atmosphere. I mean, Mr. McCumber's built a great culture there. It's a really nice group of people to work with. Definitely a smaller atmosphere that I'm used to, as far as I can see every kid every day. I can see every staff member every day. I can interact with them. That's not the reality anymore at the middle school, unfortunately. So that's really cool. They have a really good buddies program that's fourth graders working with kindergartners. We have a special day next week where we're bringing in air care, bringing in police officer, and we're bringing in fire truck. And we purposely put the fourth graders with the pre-K and kindergartners grouped together because the fourth graders are so good at working with the little kids and helping them. So it's really good. Swimming, we have a pool there. That's a cool opportunity for those kids to be able to swim. they're swimming, every couple weeks right now. And then the Project Lead the Way that we have in K2 is a really nice thing that's going, I think it's going really well. And then just community service and outreach. Mr. McCumber had some really cool things set up. For example, we have fourth graders that went out and helped with Oktoberfest, getting things set up. They fed the kids. It's just a neat community thing to be able to do. And I've had a couple community members already just say, hey, that was really cool that they were able to keep doing that. So I'm trying not to screw up all those good things that we have in place. One tradition that I told Mr. McCumber ended today, I will never do it again. We have a thing called Chalk the Walk, which is really awesome. The kids make these really cool designs. Well, then apparently the tradition was for Mr. McCumber to go on the roof and take a picture of this, which I did, and going up was fine. And when I got to go down, I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I made it by myself, which I was proud of, and I didn't sit in the water that was on the roof. So, but I told him I'm not going on that roof again. So, questions about Amana?
I saw you had a service dog. Can you tell me
Yes.
about that?
So Torin is our service dog. I'm a little old school, so I was a little nervous about that. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little nervous about that. And Torin has been awesome.
Who's the handler?
So the one of our special ed teachers, Karen Boston Kemple, and then Callista Schwann, the counselor, both are certified handlers. The dog does go home with Karen. Karen's the one that keeps it at her house, but they pass that dog off all day. So I see it with both of them all day. I was in a meeting this morning and in the room, and the dog was sleeping in its kennel. So it's out greeting kids every morning when they come in. It's just, it's very
That's cool. I didn't realize we had one there. I thought we only had one
It's
at
a black
CCA.
lab, yeah. And it was trained it's trained in, I think, Leavenworth. In the prison, the prisoners train the dog. They have a certain level of where they've worked to be able to do stuff like that, and it's really cool. The story on the dog is interesting. Karen's told me about it, how it all works. So, yeah, I think the kids, that dog
neat.
is
I
just
like
it's a good dog. So, what other questions about Amana? Okay, all right, let's flip to the middle school. All right, so middle school, significant bigger staff. So I use the same format for this. So definitely a lot bigger deals as far as number of people. So you can see I kind of tried to spread those out so the numbers in parentheses are, and it's kind of confusing because people do multiple things. Like some of our elective teachers also might teach something else. So it's not a true number. You can't add that up and go, oh, that's how many teachers you have. It would be a little bit less than that. But definitely, the teacher associate, 17 is only five greater than Amana. So that's an interesting thing to think about. Big custodial staff, food service staff is really, those of you, I know some of you volunteered, they're really awesome. Missy and that whole department is just doing a really good job. Then as far as numbers, you can see those are Power School numbers, so those are a little higher than they actually are in terms of that total number, because some of the students in there are dual enrolled or other situations like that. But 250 is kind of a nice number to think of in terms of how many kids. We have 10 sections right now, so if you just take 250 divided by 10, you're looking at class sizes of about 25, and we try to keep that balanced throughout the day. Next year will be a little interesting, so we need to think about how that's going to look next year. And Mr. Davidson and I have already started to have those conversations, because that fifth grade right now is a pretty big class. I think it's in the 280s. So we may have to pivot a little bit next year and try and figure out what that's going to look like in order to manage that number. Class sizes, I've always felt are really good at CCA. I think in general we've done an awesome job with that. We're sitting at 25. It wouldn't be crazy in districts around here to have 31, 32, 33. So really kudos to CCA for kind of keeping that a manageable number. It's not so much the number as it is the space. Our classrooms get really full, and I think the teachers could take more students, but there's not really physically room. So, okay. So our data was okay too. I thought we did a nice job last year. So we look at sixth grade. We were sitting at 73% proficient in ELA, 74% proficient in math, and that was a group that came in significantly lower. So we were really happy with that. I want to say they were in the low 60s as 5th grade. So really good work by our 6th grade teachers kind of working with that group. 7th grade, we were at 80% in ELA, 79 in math, and then 8th grade, we were at 87% proficient in ELA, 83% in math, and then 70 or 82% in science. So those 8th grade numbers. I really like to look at what we're doing with kids from one year to the next, making sure that we're trending up. So, and then in the middle school total ELA, we had 80% of our kids were proficient and 79 in math. So like Mr. Davidson said, we like that 80%, but we also really want to get to 100. That would be our goal every year, that we get every kid proficient. So, okay. Goals, again, we just bumped everything up. So 6th grade, you can see we went to an ELA 80%, 77 in 7th grade, 85 in 8th grade, and then math 78, 78, and 83. And something we're working on again with strengthening family engagement is getting that PLP participation up. That's next week. We started monitoring that 3 weeks ago in terms of how many families are signed up. Teachers are doing a good job. We found that having students email their parents and say, hey, we need to sign up for this is a helpful strategy. So right now, I think we're hitting about 70%. So we have a nice push here to make over the next week to try and get that a little bit higher. The number is actually higher than what's signed up because sometimes we have IEP meetings and things that have happened that we kind of don't make the parents come back in again. We kind of get it all at one time. So some highlights at the middle school that we're proud of. We have 19 clubs on the record this year, which is awesome. We have 12 sports. Those clubs, one thing about those, most of those are non-paid. So those are staff members that are just giving their time to start a club. So there are a few that are paid, but not nearly 19. Sorry, I must be catching, Denny. 12 sports, which we're heading to season 2 right now. So we just had our first season, good participation there. Peer-to-peer, that's our program where we have mainly 8th graders working in classrooms and also working with some of our special needs students to help them feel included. Win intervention time. So this year we changed our schedule a little bit where we have intervention. The whole building is on intervention at the same time. So there's some pluses and minuses to that, but we decided we want to try it having all together and see how it worked. It's really been beneficial for our peer-to-peer and our adaptive PE. Some of our kids that need a different look at PE, we have it during that time, and then we're able to push in some of our kids that are peers-to-peer that don't really need any math or reading intervention. So. And then another new thing this year is ELP. We have some pre-AP online courses. I think we have like 22 7th and 8th graders that are taking it's basically called a pre-AP course. So it's like a high school prep for AP through the Bell and Blank. And then we have 8 kids, I think, Tom, 8 or 9 kids that are taking high school courses right now. So we push some kids up. Those are obviously students that typically are in the ELP program. We have a lot of elective offerings. And band, I have to keep highlighting band because we're about to spend a lot of money on a new addition, but we have 343 students in band right now. So it's 46% of the students in Power School are in band. Morgan Hibbs, FFA program in EGG, she's doing an amazing job really getting the kids lots of opportunities to do stuff. She's taken that program to the next level, honestly. With her and Alyssa together, that's like a dual team that's scary powerful, so they're doing a great job. And then workplace learning. So each grade has some sort of activity with workplace learning. You probably hear more about workplace learning with the high school level with job shadowing, but in 6th grade we have a STEM day, in 7th grade we have a STEAM day, and in 8th grade we have a financial literacy fair that 8th graders participate in. So we're utilizing that workplace learning Kirkwood for some of that, life skills stuff, I would say, more than anything. So questions about the middle school?
Sounds like you have your hands full.
It's fun. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I could use her child as they're never not happy to see it. Okay, I can't always say that for middle school kids, honestly.
That's true.
But kindergartners, first graders, they just want to see it and they're happy to see it. So that's been pretty good. So
How are you doing with dual site handling?
So I would say huge credit to Mr. Stone and Mr. Fornes and the middle school. They're doing an amazing job. I told Mr. Davidson, and I were chatting about this yesterday. We have such a great backup plan at the middle school that I find myself spending a little bit more time at the elementary just because there's not that other person to go to an IEP meeting or, so it's probably a 50-50 split right now, but I always start at Amana because I live there. I'm able to start my day there, and then I either, like today I left at 8:30 and came to the middle school and stayed till about noon and then came back because I had meetings at Amana. So it's actually fluid. Each day can look a little different. I kind of look at my calendar and say, where do I need to be at what times? And then I use it that way. So after being in Amana though, it's pretty cool to go back there again. And other than the roof, I'm not doing that again. So.
They make drones these days for that type
Yeah.
of thing.
I had there were 20 kickballs on the roof though. So
From the
yeah,
70s.
it was funny because kids were at recess and I just started launching balls off without them seeing me, so that was fun. That was my highlight of the day.
The Bail and Blank program, how did
Yeah.
that come about? How does it get paid?
So how it came about was through our ELP teacher, Mrs. Jen Fox is her name. She had some history with that. It's actually free for middle school kids, which is really cool. So last year, she had her 6th and 7th graders, and we were trying to figure out ways to get kids a little bit more engaged in the elective. So that's literally their elective. They're able to take that course as their elective. So it's all online. She is available, or Mr. D's are available to help them if they need it, but most of them are they're cutting through it on their own. And I think they limited it to 3 or 4 courses that they could take that aren't courses that they could take at the high school, so they're not going to replace something that they would be able to take as a high school student here. So, all right.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Move into our reports then. Up first, Chin with our student representative.
Okay. So first I'm just going to talk a little bit about homecoming, which was 2 weeks ago. So on that Thursday we had our parade, our coronation of the king and queen, which was Riley Colvin and Sydney Pfeiffer. And then we also had our powder puff game. And then on that Friday we had our pep rally, the homecoming football game. And then on Saturday was the actual dance. Also that week we had a door decorating contest between all the advisories, which was a fun way to get students involved. And then Mr. Daniel, Mr. Mercumber, and Mr. Ruby were the judges for that. In the next upcoming weeks, we have the FFA National Convention in Indianapolis. So next time I'll have to report on how all the teams did. And then last week we had our safety week, and students participated in the ALICE training just in case, something ever happened. And then also there was an incident like a few weeks ago with someone who doesn't go to our school was in our school. So now we have some more procedures, like with checking into the library and commons, just to make sure that everybody is where they're supposed to be. Last Tuesday, our volleyball team won against Grinnell, which made them the WAMAC West Conference champions, and they actually got a first round bye. So their first Region 1 semifinal game will be against Keokuk or Mount Pleasant next Thursday. And then next Thursday or Friday, we also don't have school because of PLPs. And then I also wanted to check in with Mr. Copeland, the band teacher, just to see how the band was doing. And this year they transitioned into 4A, which I didn't know. And that was a big change, just especially because the band is young and 2/3 of the band is either freshmen or sophomores. And then tonight there's a big event going on called the Corridor Marching Classic, where schools from all around the areas come and perform their shows. And then also the UNI Panther Marching Band also gets to perform, so they kind of get to see some professionals do it. See if they want to do that in college maybe. And then last week, the Student Council also sold bracelets, and I think the Booster Club sold t-shirts just for the breast cancer awareness game. And we raised $814.75. I think that's just from the bracelet sales, but I could be wrong. And then also Mr. Davidson provided you guys all a copy of the newspaper, which I think you guys should read because they do a really good job on writing it, and Miss Moore's really excited about how it turned out.
Awesome, thank you.
That's all I have.
Excellent. Go ahead and do building projects update. Are you doing this quickly for Maury?
So Maury, I thought, did a good job of laying it out. I told him if there were any questions, I would bring it to him. So I would be happy to go through it with you, but any questions, myself or Maury on? Okay. I'm continuing to give hopefully pictures that will go along with what he said in my Friday update. So hopefully that helps put a notation to what's happening to a picture. Specific to the superintendent report, our fall sports seasons, we're winding down, which is exciting point to the year. As we progress and we get some teams into the postseason, I'll make sure I'm continuing to give updates as needed. I'm excited to support our teams as they're progressing through the season here. You've received the open enrollment out information that was requested from our work session. 3 big reasons really are focused around continuation, which is the largest number of open enrollment outs, homeschooling, and then virtual. And again, I provided you with the numbers in my last Friday update. Update in Tiffin Elementary, inadvertently cut fiber line. So I have kind of an update to this. When I put it in, it's changed a little bit. So it's in the hands of our attorneys, but also EMC at this point. Our attorneys aren't confident on us being able to probably not have to pay, but that being said, we're working with our insurance EMC to see what we could potentially do. So I'll make sure I continue to keep you posted. There was a meeting this morning at 8:30. Maury met with Doug Bolt and the mayor on the same topic. I followed up with Doug at the Homemakers groundbreaking. Not a lot of new information besides the best path right now is EMC. Working on the 26-27 instructional calendar. I'm confident we'll have it finalized in November. I'll be ready to present to the board for approval in December. I'm happy with the way I think it's turning out. We're getting feedback from multiple stakeholders, so I think it will be a solid calendar. And then lastly, Laura and I will be appearing in front of the SBRC on December 16th to give a financial update regarding our categorical fund carryover balance being larger than our UAB. In the general fund, Laura will be discussing this a little more in detail in her financial report. So we'll be able to move forward and set a path on that. Any questions? Okay.
Okay, finance report.
So, as Aaron referred to in his report, we would have been asked to provide a fiscal update to the SBRC committee. We did do this in December of 2023 as well, so any of you that would have been on the board at that time would remember it's the same process. The result of that is due to the fact that our categorical carryover balance is larger than our UAB, as we talked about in our financial update at the last meeting. And so I just kind of wanted to touch base a little bit on the spending authority and what variables affect our spending authority. And so on the slide there, as I have listed, our supplemental state aid, which is of course determined by the legislature each year, our student enrollment, our miscellaneous income, and probably the big hitter for that one, or in that category for this past year, fiscal year 25, was our open enroll tuition out. So that was larger than what we had coming in, which would then of course impact the authority that we would have had. There are a variety of reasons that you can go be asked to present or at the SBRC. Some of those are automatics, like our special ed deficit that we approved last month in September. Tonight, I've asked you to approve the AL excess cost, which is in October. In December, if you have increasing enrollment, and then there's also another ELL and open enroll out situations, certain situations, then you those are automatically again granted in December of each year. In our situation where we were asked to come and provide a fiscal update, that is one of the reasons that you could be asked to be in front of the SBRC with a, just again, an update. Some of the other things that happen, and this one is, has been in our building. There's been a couple different times when we go to the SBRC for initial staffing of opening new buildings, and we have always been granted that. And again, these aren't just automatics. They're where you need to go and present your information. Other situations would be like very unusual circumstances or needs, like a natural disaster. If something went through and we would need to recover some spending authority. In past years, we have done abatement on environmental hazards. So in any of our buildings that we would have had asbestos, we've been able to go to them and ask for that spending authority back. The big one is if you were to happen to have a negative unspent balance, which is the one that, you know, we don't want to get to, then you go to them and provide a workout plan. So anyway, those are some of the reasons that you go to the SBRC, some of them automatic and some where you have to present information. The big item in the spending authority that we probably have the most control over would be our district expenditures. And so we will continue to monitor our expenditures with our line item budget and maximize the use of our current FTEs and staff resources, as that's where the biggest impact is. As we talked last month, or during the work session, 79% of our entire budget, it goes to staff and benefits, salaries and benefits. So that's, you know, if you have to be efficient in where you're managing your resources, that's, you know, a good place to start. The other option is the flexibility account. We have done that a couple times over the years, and that's where you transfer carryover categorical balances over into the flexibility account. So it opens up other general fund usages that you may have. Categoricals come with very, very specific guidelines on what you can spend those funds on. So by transferring it to the flexibility, it just opens up some other opportunities for you to be able to spend those dollars. It is a 2-meeting process to transfer money from the categoricals into the flexibility account, because we're required to hold a public hearing. And so, like I said, that's a 2-meeting process. The board would establish public hearing date, we would hold it, and all of that has to be done and completed before June 30th of any specific fiscal year. So we didn't have the ability to get that done June 30th of 2025. So again, resulting in a larger carryover balance than for a categorical than what maybe we would have had otherwise. And so then the plan, as we'll talk about here in a little bit, is that part of the reason to go before the SBRC would be for us to share with them how we plan to spend those categorical balances down, and then each year going forward, spend our categoricals in the years that we receive them, so that there's minimal carryover. Make sense?
It does. Go ahead. Where you going?
The audit is not, it's like an ongoing process. It's after you certify your budget from last year, they look at the numbers and then call you up for it, right?
This will be a result of our filing our CAR in September 15th.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when our UAB is actually determined for that June 30 timeline. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm really confused.
Okay.
We didn't spend the categoricals down, or there's a negative balance in the
No, our categorical balance is bigger, is a larger amount. It's 303 something. I have it in the presentation.
Yes,
we'll
I'm
talk about
looking
later.
at that. Yeah.
And our UAB that we talked about last time was the 284 or 46 or something like that.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah. So the categorical restricted balance is higher than what our UAB is.
Okay, now I'm with you.
Are you
Thank
with me?
you.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll go into board report. I don't think we've had too much since we last saw each other with the first SIAC meeting, which I'm sure you'll talk about in your Friday update as well, but I thought it was well attended and a very robust conversation.
Sounds good.
Anybody else attend any committee or foundation type meetings, library meeting, nothing? Okay, we can move into our action items then. First up, we have the pay up for Pro Platinum Construction. The recommendation is to approve payout number 1 for CCE pre-K Playground to Pro Platinum Construction in the amount of $144,400.
Motion?
Second.
Any questions? Discussion here? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have the pay app for Tricon Construction. The recommendation is to approve pay app number 1, the baseball softball phase 2 to Tricon Construction in the amount of $237,758.68.
Motion. Second.
Any questions or discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Up next is the lease agreement with Charbon Farms. The recommendation is to approve the farm lease agreement with Charbon Farms for the 2026 crop season.
Motion. Second.
Questions, discussion here? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. D is accepting EL excess costs. Recommendation is to accept the 2025-26 EL excess costs application for modified supplemental aid in the amount of $211,328.95.
Motion.
Second.
Question, discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E is the district voluntary retirement program. The recommendation is to approve the district employee voluntary retirement program for employees that meet the eligibility requirements with a benefit of $8,500 per year for 5 years, totaling $42,500 per participant, payable from the management fund.
Motion. Second.
Questions or discussion here?
I had some questions. Kara asked about the TSA part of this. Did we resolve that, or are we gonna put that in our rollout program? Do the teachers, are they aware of the age restriction?
Yeah, I think the plan was to make sure they are, Catherine, to make sure that they're aware of it. The TSA portion of the voluntary retirement program.
We'll cover that during our eligibility meetings.
Yeah, we'll go over all of
Yeah,
the
all the
policy
specifics.
in those
Yeah.
meetings, yeah.
And then I was also asked, is it first come, first served? Because we didn't really know last time, but it is first applications.
Need to bring in
And
the
there is a
paperwork.
form, yeah.
We
for
have
them
to
to
do the
That's the
form to
difference.
clarify it has to be in
Sorry,
person,
you're
so
here.
that way there's not a.
It's not gonna be an email.
Yeah.
Or schedule send.
When is the beginning date that they can apply? Is that in the policy? If it is, I didn't see it.
End date is January 5th.
It's after we hold those meetings, so we have to hold the meetings, give them their paperwork, and that's when the ball gets rolling.
Is there one meeting that launches it, or multiple meetings they could attend?
We'll have multiple
Okay.
meetings.
Any other questions or discussion here?
So sorry, to piggyback on that one, so the program doesn't launch after the first meeting, but after the series of multiple meetings to make sure we cover as many people as possible before we open it up, right?
Yeah, we'll talk to everybody who's eligible.
Okay.
And this doesn't affect if they want to retire, then come back as a long-term sub or anything like that, right? That's completely separate.
I think
So you would have IFRS rules they would have to follow.
Right,
Be the
that's what I
same
mean, but
concept.
this doesn't,
Correct.
they can still do this program, long-term sub if they wanted,
Sub period, yeah, anyway, if they want, yeah.
within that IPERS limit.
As long as they're still state
8,000.
certified would be the caveat there. They'd have to keep their certification up.
So I'm following up on what Kara said. It's like you're gonna have an eligibility meeting, and if you go to that first meeting, you can go start doing your paperwork. But if you couldn't attend the first meeting because of legitimate reasons, now you're behind on the paperwork and the chance to get first come, first serve.
So it
'Cause you
won't
have to go to
open until the
different-
last one, is what I would assume,
We'll
right?
establish, the date after
The
the
last.
last.
Everybody
meeting,
that's
so
eligible will have an
everyone has the
opportunity to come.
opportunity.
They need to
Same
communicate,
time.
as long as everybody
Okay.
communicates.
And is this how I'm just curious, is this how other districts do it, or do districts ever do it based on if there's 15, the 12 that have the most years in district?
You can look at it differently. I've seen it based on seniority. There's different options you can look at. Districts have wiggle room there.
I was just wondering, because if they've put a lot of time into the district and we've already invested lots in that person, you could be eligible to retirement, but come here 5 years ago, eligible for this, right? But come
12.
or 12 years ago,
And that's
right? 12.
That's in the
But
That's
some
what I'm
verbiage.
saying, how does that compare to a 40-year teacher?
right, yeah. But that's not in the policy. We're not approving the exact how you decide this. Like if you hear back at eligibility meetings, people really prefer a seniority approach or something.
Well, and I think some people will look at it like, if they're not eligible, if they haven't hit that rule of 88, they're probably not going to be too excited about this. And so, the next question would be, hey, when are you going to offer it again?
Right.
And right now, that's a board decision, and you can't speak to when or if we'd offer it again, but that's sometimes a deal breaker for those that by our policy are eligible, but if they're not eligible for, if they haven't hit that rule of 88, they're probably not interested, so.
Just another question I want to clarify. I get that it's a board decision to offer this, but from the management fund standpoint, we wouldn't even consider offering for another 5 years based on the 5-year payout of this. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So that people understand that it would be at least 5 years until it was revisited.
That's not saying we would
Right.
say yes in 5 years.
Right.
Possibility
The possibility.
Yep.
That allows us to make that budget amount
Yeah.
every year. So we know it's planned, know what it would be.
I just want people to have all that
100%.
information.
Yeah.
So the I'm going to use a term that might not exist, but the operationalization of this process is pretty much still flexible. You as superintendent and HR would have a little bit of flexibility in setting up the rules per se, right? Like kind of
Of
what?
like who's gonna, if there's 15 people,
if there's
which
more
12?
people that can't come in as.
That's not in the policy
Yeah.
specifically.
Eligibility is based on what's in the
Right.
policy.
But the policy is flexible in terms of like.
Yep.
It doesn't say like, oh, it's gonna be the first 12 that apply in the policy.
District has, it just needs to communicate it, so everybody has the same information.
I have a question about the policy. If the policy was updated tonight, are we approving the updated policy? Because we haven't technically approved that policy, right? With these dates in it?
We're
So-
approving the updated policy tonight, yes.
Okay.
And then we'll change the date once it's been approved.
Which is permissible.
I'm excited. I've heard it's a hot commodity.
It definitely is.
So just wanted to make sure we were covering some bases on.
Yeah, Catherine's had a lot of meetings. The staff have asked a lot of questions, and she's done a good job of meeting with, and she was at Clear Creek, I think, today. So there's definitely interest.
Anything else on that, you guys? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F is approving exhibits for the SBRC fiscal update. I recommend the board approve the exhibits for the SBRC fiscal update as presented. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Questions and discussion here? I will add that we did I don't know if they said it, but this happened 2 years ago as well. So it's not I thought it was the big trouble at first, but it's not, so. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item G is to approve board policy revisions and review. So I recommend that the board approve policy 208 board committees, 40101 equal employment opportunity, 50105 attendance center assignment, 50207 student substance use, 50705 emergency plans and drills, 60606 insufficient classroom space.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item H, consent items. I recommend the board approve the consent items as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Questions, discussion? Thank you for the donations. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so we'll move into the discussion items. Next meetings, I was just gonna note, in October 27th, so next week we don't have anything going on. But October 27th is the next roundtable at East Ridge. This one's starting later, I saw 5:30.
It is, yep. As we kind of talked about in, I think it was the last work session, I wanted to take a look. What I had Ryan do, because again, we're trying to draw the biggest turnout we can. The time originally at 4 o'clock was meant for staff. He pulled his staff, and I wanted him to be careful, like we're not pressuring staff to attend, we just want them to attend if they have questions. He only had less than a handful that were interested, and because of that, it just didn't seem I hope the 1 to 2 to 3 that want to come will still be able to come, but this way, it feels kind of strange to have more people presenting than we do in attendance. And so this gives, if it's like our SIAC where we had quite a few people come, this gives people in the Eastridge area the ability to come, a better opportunity. So I'll continue to collect feedback and give it to you guys and give you a courtesy heads up. I don't like adjusting the time, but it just seemed appropriate, so.
October 29th, we'll have the Meet Your Candidate Forum, which we will have 5 people that have been invited now to be on stage to answer questions.
I did have a question about that. I saw the questions, like the list of questions. How is that going to be handled? I just know from 2 years ago, like that's a really long list of questions to get through. Like, what are you guys thinking about? Like, I think probably lesson learned. We need less is more, trimming it down. So, and I just want to respect the candidates' times too, that they don't want to prepare tons of answers if we already know we're going to chop it down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to feedback as far as chopping it down. If there's 5 of them up there, they get 2 minutes per question. It's 10 minutes per question, which would be like 6 questions. And I think we have 8 or 10 on there.
I thought it was more.
Is it more?
The list was a comprehensive one, and I think we chopped it down.
Oh, did you guys already trim it?
No, we haven't trimmed it. This list was from last year, so it hasn't been trimmed or anything.
I would just say maybe.
Like I think last time we discussed what we were trimming down, and then we, right?
Yeah.
We haven't.
Yeah, we can give it.
Yeah, I mean, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4.
We can pull back last year's.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably we can go through. There's kind of 2 per area. Let's maybe pick one. And if people have strong feelings about one or the other.
Yeah, I mean I would just say it gets to be a lot. But
I think originally too, when we looked at it, we thought we'd have 3 people on stage. So we are happy that we have added. But yeah, we have to adjust our questions. It's a great point.
Plus, you're going to have audience questions too. Or are we not doing that?
Well, last time I don't think we did.
Yes, we did.
We did. Did we?
Yeah,
No one asked any, but you have to. I think you have to do
So we have to save time for that. So. Okay, we'll go through those and put those in. And then 10:30, that week is busy. It's the next facilities committee from 6 to 8.
On the forum, are you guys running that? So do you need us there, or what's the plan, or who's timing, who's asking?
Yeah, I thought.
I don't think.
Last time it was you,
Sean
and then Sean was stepped in because Joe was vice president but was having to answer. So I thought we would go and I can ask and you can time, or we can switch. Who's asking, who's timing? That's what you guys did.
Oh yeah, Nick is running too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess we haven't really logisticalized it, but
I guess I did in my brain. I didn't tell him, so I assume we do it like you guys did. We're like,
there's 2 people.
There's 2 people.
Yeah.
We're not up for election, and we're remaining on the board. So
yeah, makes sense.
I'll have the clock.
I'm just making sure we don't need to be there for anything.
Yep.
Is what I'm
no,
adding.
we would welcome you, but no.
More than welcome to attend.
Yeah.
And it will be live streamed?
Yes.
Okay.
And then our next meeting that we're going to together is November 5th for work session. And we're working out some details. We may do closed session evaluation, or quarterly regular evaluation with that one. So it's not combined with, it's the board that hired him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and so it's not combined in the middle of the turnover one. And then the last thing that I want to get on the radars of those who will likely still be here and are not going to be retiring from the board is our December work session is going to be a combo work session meeting. There were some scheduling difficulties. Aaron and Lori have an opportunity to go to finance class, and we need to move, and with all the other things happening in December and concerts and special things, there was not another night that we could find for the board to meet. So we'll be combining, and I think that will be nice for December because it always feels tight. That's all I have about next. It's still December 3rd. Great question. Thank you. I didn't explain that, which one we're going with. You were on the meeting.
I was.
That is the next meeting talking points that I have tonight.
I was going to throw in, this week was awesome, thanks to nutrition department.
Oh.
for hosting us, a few of us, I guess, serving lunch. I did North Bend Middle School, and Friday I'll be doing the high school, so. Pray for me.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, I did Oak They
Like your
put me to
post.
work. It was. I thought I was just gonna have to scoop some food on it.
What'd you have to do?
Wash dishes.
Serve spaghetti and serve vegetables and maybe serve the little.
Did you get stressed out?
Did you think you were going there to look pretty or what?
It was just like, all right, that's how you do it. I'll be back here.
When the breakfast one,
Get to work.
the breakfast serving, you did that in the spring, right? It was like, breakfast was like so chill. It was like 20-ish minutes maybe, and it's like, here's like a peanut butter jelly sandwich, or like, it was like so simple. And so I was like, Missy, can we do lunch? Like, we want to do something like more. And then I saw your post and I was like, sorry, Nick.
It was so well organized. It's really well done. They maximize the amount of time that they go through there, they eat, so they can go play, and it's an impressive, well-run machine. So I clogged up the wheels on it.
I felt like I did at the high school. They're a good team there too.
Anything else from anyone? Sean, do you want to do the honors?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
7:20.
7:20.